everyone, welcome to Tutorials by Decade. My name is Decade, and I'm recording this on a day where I normally don't record, so I want to apologize right off the bat if there's any background noise or anything. I'm going to try to reduce it the best that I can, but I've been having some problems with my computer being all weird and funky. As a matter of fact, before I started recording, I normally hide my taskbar so that way you get more of a screen, and that took me 15 minutes just to figure out. So yeah, it's I don't know what Windows is doing, but on the day that I normally record, I opened up my Unity project and I couldn't move my character, and I'm thinking maybe I messed up the code or maybe Unity updated and I didn't realize it. But yeah, no, it's just mainly Windows and my computer. So I think I'm good to record now. So we're gonna try this and see how it goes. But in the last video, I left you guys with a little bit of a challenge, and that was to get an interact prompt. So right now, when we hit play, and this is where we're going to see if everything's working right. There we go. You can walk up to these chests and you can interact with them, and that one's locked, and yeah, that one's open, and there we go. But that one's locked. We can't do anything with it. Matter of fact, let's just get that small chest, and we'll just that one. But what we want to do is have an interact prompt pop up whenever you're able to interact. So I'm moving this just a little bit further away so that way it doesn't activate right away. But the way we're going to do this, I don't want to move that. That's bad. There we go. The way that we're going to do this, and or my phone, like I said, a lot of background noise. Put this on vibrate so that way it doesn't, it's going to keep going off. Anyway, when we click on the player, we come down here and we see this interact prompt and it's none, and it needs a game object. So what are we going to do? Well, under player, we're going to right click and we're going to just create an empty, and we'll name that notification. And in notification, we are going to add a sprite renderer. It's looking for a sprite. So what we're going to do is we are going to go to our sprites, go to world, go to objects. We'll open the sprite editor just to make sure that the object we want, which is this guy right here, is all good and ready to go, which it is. So we're going to find that. There it is. All right. So now that we have that there, we can go back to our notification, to our sprite renderer, where it says sprite here. We're going to click and drag and drop. Now it's going to ask what sorting layer. We want this on the player. And you still can't see it, which is fine. We need to move it up. We're going to move it up to, you know what, we'll do 1.25. There we go. Now let's go back to our player. Let's go to interact prompt. Take that notification, drop that there. Now let's take the notification and deactivate it. And now hit play and see what happens. As expected, nothing. And then we get up near the chest, and there it is. So that is how you do that. So now let's get on to the main topic of the video, and I realize I never explained what that's going to be. That is going to be adding health regeneration items, as well as items to increase your max health. So since we're at our sprite here, we're going to drag this guy out here, and we'll drop it right there. And we'll drag this guy out here, and we'll drop it right there. So this object we are going to put on the items layer. And you know me, I like to make things even-ish. So negative 0.5. There we go. We will rename this one health pill. We need to add an animator to it. And we need to add a box collider 2D to it. We want to make sure the box collider is a trigger. And then we'll edit the box collider so that way it's roughly the same size as the pill. It doesn't have to be exact, but nonetheless. There we go. And then we're going to do the same thing. We'll call this one the health potion. And again, let's just make this 0.5. We'll just make it 6. We will move it to the items layer. We will add an animator, and we will add another box collider 2D to it, and we will make it a trigger. We will edit that box collider. Be roughly the size of this, and it's pretty close anyway, so there we go. So let's go back to the health pill. And with the health pill selected, we want to go to animation. We want to hit create. And we want to put this in our animations folder. And we want to put this in our items folder. And again, new folder, we'll just do health pill. And then we'll just do pill flash as the animation. And then all we're going to do is just take this first one and drop it in there. And we'll take the second one, drop it in at 30, and then redo the second one, drop it in at 1, and hit play. And it's not too annoying, but it's still enough to alert the player that it's there. There we go. So if we go up to the animator, I just like to move that there just because I know it's going to drive me crazy. Now let's go to our health potion and create an animation for that. Then items, new folder. I'm spelling potion wrong. Oh, it's whatever. It's no big deal. And then we're going to name this one Max Health Flash. And all we're doing is taking our 3 animations, put one at the beginning, second one at 15, third one at 30, and repeat the third one at 45, and we'll hit play. Again, that looks great. We're not trying to annoy the player, or maybe you are. If you want to make it faster. We're just trying to alert the player, hey, there's something here. I mean, this is a big enough thing that the player should be able to see it, but that pill's kind of small, so maybe not. But anyway, again, that's all we need to do. I just like to do this and drop it here. We do not need to do anything else for animation. What we do need to do is some scripting. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our player, and we want to get our player stats script because we do have to make a change to that. Let me pull up my notes. Oh, that's not my note. Boom, there we go. So we do need to make a couple quick little changes to here in order for this to work. So we have our max health and our current health, and all that's going to stay the same. What we do need to do is we need to add a couple more functions in here. All right, so we have the heal function, which we're going to be using here very shortly. Now we need to do a public void increase max health. In our parentheses, we're going to require an integer for the amount. And we're also going to require a bool for also heal amounts. And we're going to default that to true, but we're going to be potentially change that in a little bit. Now what we're going to do here is if the amount is less than or equal to 0, then we're simply going to return and not do anything. Assuming we make it past that check, we're going to take our max health and we're going to plus equal amount. Then down here, we're going to do a check if also heal amount. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take our current health and we're going to equal math f dot clamp. We're going to take current health plus amount, minimum of 0, and max health. So what we're going to do is anytime we increase the max health, if also heal amount is true, if we increase the max health by, say, 2 points, then we're also going to heal by 2 points. Some games do that, some games do not. By just adding this little bowl here, we leave that up to the developer, which in this case is going to be you. But it's also good to have this here. If you ever change your mind, you don't have to rewrite a whole bunch of code. You just have to change simple bool. And then the last thing we need to do is we need to call on health change, and then invoke it, and then do our current health and max health. That way it actually reflects on our UI. And then this is something that we're not going to do in this video, but we're here. We might as well do that. So I'm going to notate it for debug purposes. But we need to add a public void set health, and then int value. And then down here, we're going to set current health is going to equal mathf.clamp value 0 max health. And then we can just copy this because same thing, and paste it right there. So for debug purposes, you may want to be able to set your health. So if you add an audible tone whenever you're down to like 1 health, instead of finding an enemy and just getting beat up to 1 health and all that, you can set your health to 1 health. There may be items in the game that use this. That's 100% up to you, but for the most part, this is mainly for debug purposes. That's all we need to do in player stats, so make sure you save that. Now what we're going to need to do is create, we need to create 2 health items. So we're going to create a new folder under scripts and items and call it just health. And we already created this base pickup, so we don't need to do anything in base pickup. What we do need to do is go to our health folder we just created, go to create, go to mono behavior script, and we're just going to name this one health pickup. And we're going to let Unity do its thing here. And we'll open that guy up. And instead of all of this, we're just going to get rid of all of that. And instead of inheriting from mono behavior, we are going to inherit from base pickup item. Now this is going to turn red for a minute, but that's okay. In here, we're going to add a header, and we're going to call it heal settings. And in here, we're going to do a tooltip, and we're going to do how much health to restore. And we're going to serialize that field, and then we're going to do a private integer heal amount. And then for now, we're going to default it to 2, but again, it's your game. You can change it to whatever you want. And we're going to do one more tooltip. And then, if true, pickup only works when the player is missing health. So some games, we got to serialize that field. Some games have a thing where if you see health, you can't necessarily pick it up if you're at full health because that's just wasting it. Whereas if you pick it up at full health, it's not really doing anything. So what you could do is set it so that way it requires you to be missing health in order for it to pick up. And again, this is going to be a bool. So private bool requires missing health. And we're going to default that to true, but you can always change that to false. If you want to pick up the item no matter what, even if you don't need it, you can always change that to false. Is why we serialized it. So if you remember, let's see, do I have it up here? I don't have it up here. But if you remember in base pickup, or base item pickup, base pickup item, we have this protected abstract bool apply pickup, right? Well, now we're actually going to be using that here. So what we need to do is a protected override bool apply pickup, and it's already going to pick up. Where it says throw new system, whatever, we're just going to get rid of that. And in here, we need to get the player stats off of the player object. So what we need to do is player stats, not state. I made that mistake earlier when I was testing everything and couldn't figure out why it wasn't working. But make sure it says player stats. We're just going to default that to stats. And then it's going to equal collector dot get component. And you can see my Visual Studio already wants to try to fill it out. Player stats. But what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the semicolon. We're going to hit enter. We're going to put 2 question marks. And then we're going to put collector.getComponent and parent, then player stats. So essentially you're telling this, hey, get the collector from the main component, and if it's not there, check in the parent. In other scripts, we've had this written out and kind of had an if statement and then another if statement. This just simplifies that, but it's the same thing. Then down here, we're going to do if stats equals null, meaning we do not have any. It couldn't find it. Why aren't you doing what I want you to do? There we go. Down here, we're going to do debug.log warning. Little money symbol here, and I believe I explained this before, but if I did not, that little money symbol allows you to put somewhat code in here, if that makes any sense. I'll explain it once we get to that point. But we're going to do health pickup. And then in here, in brackets, we're going to put, my God, what is going on here? In brackets, we're going to put name. Do you see how this turned white as opposed to this like reddish peach color? That means we're trying to pull the name of this game object. If I get rid of the money symbol here, the dollar sign, see how that turns peach or pink or red or whatever color you want to call it? That's because it doesn't know to grab the name of whatever game object we put this on. It's just going to put brackets name. So that's what this little money symbol does here. Then after that, we'll put player that's not found on collector. And then we're going to return false, because don't forget, this is looking for a bool, so it has to return something. Now, because this is in an if statement, we still have an error here because this if statement might be true. And if it is true, then we need to move on, and we don't have anything here. So what we're going to do is if requires missing health and stats dot current health is greater than or equal to max health. Sorry, stats dot max health. My mind just went crazy there for whatever reason. So if we do require missing health, but we're already at full health essentially, we don't need to do anything other than return false. If you want, you could put like a log in here. You can just do like debug log, and then health pickup player at full health and can't pick up item. You don't have to do this log if you don't want to. That's 100% up to you. But if we pass these 2 checks, then what we're going to do is stats.heal. Don't forget, in our player stats, we already have a function for this. So heal, and it does require something, so we do heal amount. And then we just simply return true. Then we save it. And that's all we need to do for the health pickup. So if we go into Unity, Unity is going to compile. We click on our little health pill. We can add the health pickup. And remember, it's inheriting from base pickup. So it has, the player tag, destroy on pickup. If you want to do any sound effects or anything, it has all that stuff in here. But down here is the health that we just added to it. So again, we can change the heal amount. We can require missing health or not require missing health. Whatever, it does not matter. But before we test this, let's do our max health pickup. So we're going to create another mono behavior script, and we're going to do max health pickup. Let Unity do its thing, and once it's done, we're going to open that up. Try that again. We're going to open that up. There we go. And we're going to do something very similar because it is pretty much the same thing. Obviously, a few extra steps. For instance, we are going to inherit from base pickup. We do need a header in here, and that header is max health stats or settings. Sorry, I got stats on the mind. We're going to do a tooltip, and we're going to do how much to increase max health by. We're going to serialize the field, and then we're going to do a private integer, increase amounts, and we'll default that to 2 as well. We're going to do one more tooltip, and then if true, also heals by the same amount as max health. Actually, we shouldn't put it as that. So heals the player. No, it would be the max. Yeah, so by the same amount as max health. Ignore me. I'm, again, doing this on a day I normally don't, and my mind's all over the place, so I apologize. If this also seems rushed, I apologize. Now we want to serialize that field, and then we want to do a private bool also heal by increase, and then we're going to default that to true. So just like what we did with the health pickup item, we are going to do a protected override bool, apply pickup, and then everything's kind of already there. Get rid of that throw exceptions or whatever that was. And we're going to do the same thing. We need to get those player stats. So player stats equals get component player stats, then enter, question mark, question mark. Oh, I'm being stupid. We need collector up here. Collector dot. There we go. And then same thing down here. Collector dot get components and parent and player stats. We're going to do the same check we did with the health pickup. If stats, my God. Null. What is going on today? All right. Then we're going to do another debug dot log warning. Then the money symbol. Then max health pickup. Name. Then player stats not found on collector. Then return false. That's the only check that we need to do for this one. If we pass that check, what we're going to do is stats dot increase max health, because remember, in the player stats, we just did this at the beginning of the video. And it's going to require increase amount as well as also by increase, or also heal by increase. And then we return true. That is all we need to do for this anyway. So if we save this and we go back, well, actually, before we go back to Unity, I do want to explain this. So remember in the increase max health that we did in player stats, it required the amount and it required true or false. We defaulted it to true, and we also defaulted this to true. But in the inspector, whenever we get there, I'll show you. If we change this to false, it will change all of that to false, meaning it will not increase your health if you pick up a max health increase. So keep that in mind. That should have given Unity enough time to compile. Of course, it didn't. Oh, there we go. So now if we click on the health potion, everything the same, we can add that max health pickup script. And again, everything's here. And now we can actually test it. Let's hit play. Let's find our player. Let's scroll down. Don't chase me yet. Don't chase me yet. All right, so our max health and our current health are at 6. So let's go and get hurt by this guy a couple times. There we go. Now you can see our max health is still 6, but our current health is at 4. So if we walk up here and grab this, you'll see our max health down here in the inspector went up to 8, but our current health is at 6. So let's go try to pick this guy up, and bam, now we are at full health. Let's test this again, but instead of taking any damage, let's go see if we can pick up this pill. And we can't, and if we go to our console, it says right here, player at full health and can't pick up the item. So let's go try to take 1 damage, and only 1 damage. There we go. So if we go to our player and go to max health, we're at 6, and current health, we're at 5. Remember, this heals for 2, but because we put that clamp in there, as soon as we pick up that, it clamps at 6, and now we are at 6. And one last test. Let's just go straight up here and pick up this. We'll see our max health and current health at 6. Pick that up. Now they're both at 8. Try to pick this up. Can't. Let's go get hurt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we get hit 5 times. So now our health is down to 3. So this is set to 2. So our health should only go up to 5. Let's see what happens. Our health goes up to 5, and our UI does its thing. Let's just change our health to 6. If you change your health in the inspector, it does not update the UI. Just so you know. It doesn't know to do it. Only until you take damage or something. So that's why having debug tools, like you know how some games have quote unquote cheat menus where you hit like Shift F12 or you hit the tilde key or whatever, and it pulls up a whole bunch of different options. Some developers use those to, well, all developers use those to test your game, to debug your game. So like to increase or decrease health or magic or increase enemy strength or whatever. But a lot of developers like to leave those in there as kind of like a cheat menu, which eventually we're going to have something like that, so that way we can, you know, debug some things. Nonetheless, I just want to do one more test just to make sure that I'm not going insane, that everything is working. We're going to come and take 1, 2, 3, 4 hits, 5 hits. All right, we're down to 1 health. All right, keep an eye on our UI. We're going to pick up this guy. Our max health is at 8. Our current health is at 3. We're going to pick up this guy, and our bar went up, and our current health is at 5. So that is how we do health increase and max health increase items. Don't really have a challenge for you guys for the next video. As again, I kind of rushed this a little bit, threw it together real fast, and didn't have much time to do anything else because it's been a hectic week. Nonetheless, we are going to start building out on this. So what we want to do before I end this video is we want to go to our prefabs. We already have an item folder. We already have coin folder. So let's create another folder and just, again, health. And let's open up that folder and let's drag our health pill and our potion pill. Our potion, health potion. So now we've made these prefabs, so we can delete them from the scene. And I guess I do have a challenge for you guys. We made loot tables. Add either the health pill or the max health potion to those loot tables. Give them weight, give them all of that fun stuff, and then test it a couple times and see if it actually drops any of these. Now, my suggestion is you do the health pill as opposed to the potion, because, you know, a traditional Zelda game, you're not picking up, you know, hearts every 30 seconds, right? You're picking up, you know, the restorative hearts, but not the max health hearts. So try to use the pill for that instead of the potion. But add these to your loot tables. Test them out and see what happens. We are going to continue to build different things. So we're going to keep adding items. We're going to add more enemies. We're going to add a lot more stuff. I honestly do not know what I'm going to do for the next video off the top of my head, and I do not know where my little list of orders of things are. But nonetheless, this is where I'm going to end this video. So if you enjoyed it, if you learned anything from it, if it helped you, make sure you give it the big old thumbs up. I do appreciate it. It does help me out. So again, I greatly appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe. I have videos like this coming out all the time, and I do not want you to miss anything. And if you do not subscribe, there's a chance you might miss something, and then I'd feel bad. So please, please, please subscribe. It also helps me out. I do appreciate it. And with all that out of the way, as always, thank you. Have a good one. And I'll see you in the next video.